Hi, it's Sue from Aging Joyfully. Steve is at work today. He has not yet retired and probably won't for several more years. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about lump sum Social Security. Have you ever heard of it? Have you taken it yourself? Please comment below and share your experience of taking a lump sum Social Security. I'm in our new office. As you see behind me, the brightly colored sunflowers. Steve did pick this orange color. We had agreed on gold, and he switched to orange at the last minute, but it was always going to be a sunflower theme. So we put these beautiful sunflowers up behind us. We did have that before, and we bought the new standing white desk. Steve has one as well, and we have the video on him putting the desk together. We love our new desks. You can stand or sit. It's great for health benefits of standing and sitting, so you're not always doing one or the other. I first heard of lump sum Social Security when my brother told me that my sister's husband, our brother-in-law, had taken it. Isn't that how you hear most things? It's your best friend's cousin's sister, once removed. It's always somebody distant, isn't it, when you hear of these things? My brother told me that they had done this, but he didn't know all of the details, and I did not ask my sister for, well, forever. But this year, she just told me recently that they were planning a nice vacation to Hawaii, and Social Security called her husband and gave him this option. He was waiting until 70 to take it, and she said Social Security called them. Now, I love my sister, but I don't know if I totally agree that Social Security called her husband. Steve and I did a great video on elderly fraud and scams, and one of them was Medicare or Social Security calling you, or the IRS. We have been led to believe, and I believe it's on the Social Security website, that you need to initiate contact with Social Security. They should not be calling you, because this is highly questionable. If somebody calls you and asks for your Social Security number or information, do not give it to them. You should be the one initiating the conversation. Social Security was returning the initial call that her husband had placed. I'm not sure, but I just want to point out potential scams, and you be aware if somebody does contact you. There is a number, I'll put it here on the screen, Social Security number. If anybody does call you, you could get their information, call Social Security Direct, and ask to speak to that person. Okay, what is a lump sum payment? It is a one-time payment of 6 months that you can choose once you reach full retirement age. Their full retirement age is 70 for many of us, but there's still quite a few out there who it's 66 and 8 months, 66 and 10 months, or something like that. Mine is 70, while Steve's is 66 and 10 months. So once you reach that full retirement age, you can request a lump sum payment of 6 months. If you want to receive the full 6 months after reaching your full retirement age, you will have to wait 6 months to apply for this. There are many pros and cons of receiving this lump sum benefit. You know, it sounds initially just wonderful, but there are some potential downsides to it. This lump sum payment can be quite large. The average Social Security payment in 2023 is $1,827. I have two sources for this. I'm not a professional financial advisor, but I do have a degree in finance and have worked in the finance field, but I'm not doing that now. So I want you to know that if you need to talk to a professional advisor, contact Social Security yourself. This video is for entertainment purposes, as well as sharing my story and just giving you a heads up that you can get a lump sum. So my source here says that the average Social Security is $1,827. Potentially, the lump sum payment can be $10,962. That is a substantial amount of money. On average, 48% of women claim Social Security at 62, while 42% of men claim it at 62. Only 10% wait, less than 10% wait until 67 to claim Social Security. If you do claim this lump sum payment, this permanently lowers your monthly benefits for the remainder of your life. Okay, I'm going to talk about some of the cons of claiming this. If you are in a situation such as Steve and I are, where one spouse earns more income than the other, not only does it lower your monthly payments, it lowers your survivor's monthly payment if he were to perish before me. Because claiming the 6-month lump sum payment is like rolling back the clock to being the same as if you had claimed your Social Security 6 months prior to when you actually did. So if you think that you might be doing this, you have basically lost 6 months of interest on that money. Many people don't know that they're going to do this. It's something that they decide at the last minute. But first, let's finish going through the cons. So it permanently lowers monthly payments and survival benefits. If you do have a considerable amount of money and you get this lump sum payment, this could potentially push you into a higher tax bracket. So you will need to look at your taxes and figure out if it's going to penalize you through taxes. Additionally, if you are a high earner, you could pay more for Medicare Part B, because people making over $182,000 a year pay more. Those are 3 cons. One additional con is that you may try to get this money and invest it, but unless you're going to earn more than an 8% return, but you divide that by 2 because you only get a 6-month lump sum, unless you're getting an 8% annual return, you're going to be losing the 4% based on 6 months. So unless you're getting more than an 8% return per year, it may not be a good investment strategy. And as I always say, whatever goes up must come down. The higher the return, the higher the risk. If you do invest in a risky venture to get a higher return, you could very well lose the entire amount. Why? Let's talk about the pros of why you may want to get a lump sum. As many people are approaching retirement, in today's world, many of them do have a lot of debt. They have payday loans, mortgages, credit card debt, and even student loans. They may have co-signed for their children or grandchildren or even themselves. So they may want to pay off this debt before they retire, so a lump sum Social Security payment will help pay off the debt or at least help reduce the debt. 2, you may find out you don't have a long life expectancy. You may have been diagnosed with a condition that you need money to pay those medical bills, or you know that you're not going to live to receive your Social Security, so you're going to go ahead and claim it now. Remember, if you have a spouse, you may still not want to claim it. You may want to keep in mind your spouse, who will then have that reduced amount as well. You might have some investment opportunities to do with this money, so you could potentially make even more money. Remember, as I always say, the greater the return, the greater the risk. So think about that carefully. And the last pro is that you may never make up those additional higher payments because of perhaps a lower life expectancy, or it will take a substantial amount of time. If you're a single person looking at this could potentially hurt your ex-spouse as well as a future spouse. So that is a consideration as well. I know that's not taken as seriously, but you may want to consider that it doesn't just impact you, but may impact other people as well. There are many factors in considering taking this lump sum. Everybody would love to have $11,000, wouldn't they? But if you're going to pay more taxes on it, more Medicare charges on it, or a future spouse or current spouse is going to have less payments, you may want to keep that in mind. I'm going to put links to our other retirement videos below. Steve and I do not have pensions, so at this point, we are planning on him waiting till 70 to take Social Security. He may or may not work until 70. We're going to live on our 401k income if he does not. I've seen many people advising against living on 401k income and draining your 401k. We also have our house equity. We would have to sell our house. I do not personally like reverse mortgages. Some people take them, but personally, I'd rather just downsize or get into an apartment or a tinier home, or move to a cheaper city. As we do look to more affordable housing in different cities, many of them are small towns, and many hospitals are closing in small towns. So we do want to consider that. That's a big thing. And also smaller towns may not have internet. So even though smaller towns are a lot more affordable, there are some negatives of living in smaller towns as you age. A lot of our viewers have said that they don't think we're going to live till 70. Is there something you're not telling us? I asked Steve if he would be upset if he died at 69 and he never took Social Security. He said no, because then it would be there for me. He wanted me to be taken care of in the case of his death. And I said, what if I died right after you? He said, well, we're both dead and we don't know the difference anyway. But unless we become really destitute and really have to take it, we're hoping to wait until he's 70. It's kind of like that old thing. They used to have a study with young children, and they put them in a room with a marshmallow, and they'd see if you could wait to eat that marshmallow. Could you sit there with a marshmallow and not eat it? And if you could wait, supposedly you were going to have a better life because you could wait for things. I thought that study was a kind of ironic because I can't stand marshmallows. So I would not have eaten that marshmallow. They didn't consider that maybe some people don't like marshmallows. But that's the same thought with Social Security. If you can wait till you're 70, you're going to, in theory, have a better life. I'm seeing more and more elderly people, and most of my family, extended family, are getting into their 70s and beyond. And I do have one cousin who did pass away 1 year ago at 61. It was totally shocking. He was in good health, fit, trim, had a lot of money, not from our side of the family, very wealthy person, and he died in his sleep. That was a complete shock to me, and it's something I just don't think I'll ever get over. Both of his parents lived to 90, so based on that, we thought he would live a long, long life as well. Yeah, he never got to take his Social Security, but he had inherited so much money. I think he enjoyed his life without that Social Security. But my siblings, my cousins, are getting up to their 70s, all healthy. Steve's siblings are in their 70s and 80s. And our neighbors, we have neighbors who are in their 80s, and they're in great shape. My aunt, who lived to 90, she didn't walk the last 10 years, but she lived till 90. So when I researched this, it said that even though the difference may be in some cases only $185 a month by waiting, when you're in your 80s and 90s, they said that $185 may make the difference between eating. So yeah, we don't know the future. That's for sure. We don't know the future. But with the advances in our healthcare, I've also seen that you shouldn't look at your grandparents' life expectancy because everything has changed since then. Yeah, my grandparents died. My grandfathers both died at pretty young ages, but everything has changed. You can live a very, very long life with the way things are going, unless, of course, you don't have health insurance or can't afford to pay for it. If you have access to it, the people who have access to it live a very long life. So I'm not saying what to do. Each life is different and unique. There's so many considerations here. I just want to put out the information to you so that you have the ability to choose. I like you to know both sides of the story. Know all the facts before you make a decision. Please check out our other videos. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and share it with friends you know, people who are older, or even young people thinking about their future. I know everything will be different then, but they might want to start thinking ahead or see what their grandparents might be going through today. Until I see you again, take it easy.